And good evening, sports fans. It's Thursday Night Live right here on the Prep Sports Report Facebook page. It's the coach, Karl DeMasi, and the columnist, Elmo Weeks, bringing you, catching up on all local prep sports. Well, Steve, it's been about 3 weeks, but, we're back doing it again this Thursday night.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you virtually again, and good to be talking about sports. Been a couple of weeks, been a couple of busy weeks with all kinds of stuff going on. It's pretty exciting to see some of our local schools and athletes actually playing some games, some volleyball games, some softball games. So that's really cool. You know, football teams are practicing, and it's pretty cool to see final scores and stats and be able to actually follow what's going on a little bit for the first time in what seems like forever.
Forever. That's what it seems like. Definitely. You got that right. And, we're talking about local sports. We got the private schools. They hit the volleyball court. They hit the softball field. They've been on the cross-country trail like this guy does all the time, our next guest. Tomorrow night, South Carolina Independent League SCISA Association will kick it off. Hilton Head Prep, Hilton Head Christian, Buford. Our South Carolina Independent School, Bethesda, will start next week, just like all the other schools. Georgia High School came out last night, Steve, and said they will kick off games next Friday night, September 4th. And what better way than to bring this on than kicking it all off? I wanted to get him on last week before he did his blue and gold scrimmage, but, he had a parent meeting. But joining us now live on the Prep Sports Report internet stream is the man himself. I know he's not going to like this. The elder statesman of all the coaches here in Savannah, Georgia, Mark Stroud. Coach, always a pleasure. Great to see you. And it was great watching you last Friday night, with all your animations and calling blitzes and moving kids around. You were out at full speed there.
Yeah, so it was good to do it. I mean, I've moved up to the defense side of the ball this year for the first time ever in my career. And so it's like jumping back in brand new again. So, but it was really good to get everybody, including the coaches, back into a semi-game speed situation where you got to respond and react quickly, and got to get the kids to react quickly. And so, it's you can how it is. You can practice all you want, and you can prepare as well as you can, but there's nothing like the game speed, and everybody's got to make adjustments. Everybody's got to be quick on their feet. Players, coaches, everybody. So that was a really good scrimmage for us. I mean, we have most kids we had in a long time. We got over 60 kids, and so we had a chance to really divide the teams up where it's fairly equal, and it was great competition and great first halves.
Let me set this up before the columnist starts throwing you the questions at you, Stephen. It was a good crowd, but I'm telling you right now, they had the varsity team going first and second quarters. Then they brought out the middle school kids. There must have been about 40, 45 of them out there. Then they came back and finished with the varsity. I mean, unbelievable crowd out there. And, it was great to see everybody out. But this man's 29 years and you're switching caps. You're going from the offensive side to the defensive side?
I needed a Calvary cap in this thing. I had my Run Savannah on over there.
So you mastered the offensive side of the ball, so you got now go master the defense. The next 29 years are going to be mastering defense, right?
We'll find out. It's in question right now.
I got to tell you, I know a couple of the kids that are playing middle school football over at Calvary, and y'all got some pretty talented young men coming up through the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade ranks as well. Some really nice kids and really exceptional athletes.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, we have a really good freshman class this year. It's the biggest freshman class we had since I've been there. I think we've got 23 kids, freshmen in class, and there's a good handful of those kids that are going to be really phenomenal high school football players eventually, and we'll see that takes off from there. But yeah, we have a good middle school right now. Is doing well. Coach Mason Griffin's first year there, and he and his staff are working hard, and it's a good group there. And so it's an exciting time. We have a lot of good young kids, 8th, 9th grade, sophomore kids that are just really, really talented right now. And so, it's fun to have a chance to work with those kids, and it's fun to, we're excited those kids want to be at Calvary Day School. So it's good.
Coach, I have to ask you, given everything that's going on, has this fall camp been has it been harder to keep the kids focused? Are they distracted by what's going on, or has it been pretty much business as usual, but with some new rules?
No, I think it's actually just been the opposite. It's been the kids have been very, very probably more excited. This group has been more excited than probably any group had in a long, long time because of all the stuff that's going on. I've said it multiple times to the media that when your kids get a chance to maybe that they're not going to have it, that they might lose it, then they just take them to a place where I think they've already processed that and they realize how it could slip away at any moment. So they're trying to cherish it and trying to make the most of it. So I felt like we came out of the gate just like with a super attitude, a lot of momentum. I mean, people are just really excited to see each other and excited to be a team again.
Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Now we need to play though, because
now it's time to play. Right.
We practiced for a long time, and as coaches, you always feel like you need about 3 more weeks before you play. But the players are like, they're back to the point they need to play. So
I remember.
Yeah.
And Coach, I did this for a long time. You're still doing it, but you got to let them see somebody else. I know you had a scrimmage last Friday night, but exactly what did you get out of scrimmage? Tell people, when I went to scrimmages, whether it was inter-squad or against another school, it didn't matter to me if we won or lost. Tell the people what you get out of a scrimmage that people don't realize. It's not about the WL, but it's about the kids getting experience. And you get to see your first, second, third, fourth teams, who's going to fill in. You might need one of them to be a Band-Aid for a starter. Tell everybody what you look for in a scrimmage.
Well, you're just looking to see if, from each side of the ball, we're getting lined up correctly. We're getting all of our, following through on all of our the details of every call that we're making. Everybody knows what they're doing. Everybody's performing, executing well their techniques. And, but you're going to see glaring issues with that, whether it's good or bad. I mean, it's always, that first scrimmage is that, it's just not quite as good as you hoped it would be in some areas, and it's better in some areas that you didn't think it was going to be in. So it's just a great evaluation tool to evaluate, are we communicating things well enough? Or do our kids understand things well enough like we think they do? Do they know their assignments well enough? Are they executing their assignments properly? So the film is invaluable. And we found 2 or 3 players the other night from doing that. From scrimmaging. Because you get out there and you try to get everybody at game speed, and all of a sudden you look up and you got this young kid over here who's just like wreaking havoc, and he's just going to be a player. So you start trying to evaluate that and say, this kid's he's moved up 2 notches right here. He's getting closer, ready to play. So it's just a complete evaluation tool from everything we're doing. Are we staff-wise down to the last guy that's playing, is he performing like we've been coached to perform? And are we coaching them well enough? So it's an evaluation of us and them, and it's just invaluable.
Coach, I know Calvary has a rich tradition of successful football going back to the 80s and in different leagues and things like that. Who's the next guy on the horizon that's going to be a household name, like some of the guys that have gone through Calvary before?
Well, it's always yet to be known about our young guys. You have to just kind of wait and see. We have some really talented young guys. Right now we've got four of our seniors that have already gotten offers. Fuchsius Lewis. I think he is just a great find for Georgia State. They told me this is the best player they've had at that position.
Wow.
Since they've been up there. So he's a guy that, was teetering, up and down with some of the ACC people. And they're probably going to be really, once they see him play, they're going to realize they missed. So he's a really good player. I think he's going to make some noise. Greg Daniel just committed to Army. Greg is a really good player, and I think he's going to make a lot of waves there. He's going to play for Coach Monken up there, and I think he's a great fit. He has a proper mentality for that, so he's doing well. Cam Sellers has got a few offers that he's just kind of waiting to make a decision. Ryan Merklinger has some offers, and he's waiting to make a decision. We got a couple guys that Brogan Corder just moved in. He's got some interest. He's coming from Landmark, and a few of our other guys, you just never know how to do it. So I know that's not exactly the answer, but, I think we do have some real talented young guys. But, again, you have to just wait and see. I mean, some of those guys, you know how it is. I mean, you can have. I think they're going to do great, but there's a lot of them that can do great. I mean, we got there's 5 or 6 guys down there that are on our 9th grade team that they potentially are going to be the real thing. But let's just wait and see how they perform and how well they do, next year or so.
You start listing off that many young men who've attracted interest from college football teams, and that probably sets y'all up for pretty high expectations this year, I would think. Correct?
Sure. I mean, I think it's those guys are so 2 of those guys are OLDO guys, and then 2 of those guys are skill guys. So
right.
And then you have a lot of guys around those guys. I mean, you have to. It's so strange in high school football. Typically a good program is going to have 2 or 3 good players.
Right.
The difference maker is the next level guys, like the guys right below them. If you can get those guys to play at their maximum potential and play them maybe a little bit over their head, then that's the difference. Because most good programs are going to have those 2 or 3 guys that are going to be college prospects and they're going to go play somewhere.
Right.
It's the next guys. If you got enough of the next guys that will go out there and really compete and play at a high level, then you got a chance to be a good football team. But there's some programs that have those 2 or 3 big time football players every year that don't do well.
Right.
So I say that to say that those next guys are so important when you're being a good football team.
Great segue. You're watching Thursday Night Live right here on the Prep Sports Report Facebook page. We're talking to the head football coach, Mark Stroud. Been in the game a long time. Good coach, great coach. If you ask me, I know if I had another son, I'd let him come play for you again. But great segue. The next guy stepping up. You had a kid named Thomas Carver, under center for 4 years for you. And the new next guy that's going to step up, from what I could see, is Jake Merlinger. Tell us about that kid.
Well, Jake's one of those 9th graders we're talking about. Jake has a real talent. He's faster than you think he is. He's very athletic. He has a lot of range. He's going to be a tall kid. He's got a really nice throwing motion. He's got a really body very similar to Dom's body, honestly. And so he comes out of his hand really well. And really. Coach Wayne Brantley's been with us. This is going to be his 3rd year. He is a quarterback coach. Mm-hmm. He's our offensive coordinator. He's great with our offense, but he is he's a guy you want your quarterback to be coached by. He's very good. So, Jake has the luxury of having him with him all the way through. So he's been working with him a couple of years now. So that's going to be just a real, important part of Jake's progression. But yeah, he's a talented guy. And this past week we were running our defense against some of the things we're going to see at Prince, and we were bringing some pressure, and he stepped calmly in the pocket and made a couple crossing throws, and impressive. So he's one of those 5 or 6 guys I think that's got a chance to be special.
I think one of the things I've always admired about Calvary, Coach, is y'all do schedule those games out of area, out of conference, with some of the better teams in the classification. What does that do for you at the beginning of a season, playing a Prince Avenue Christian or a Landmark or something like that? How much value is there in playing a hard opponent early in the season?
Well, I think it's also super valuable because you get out of the blocks right away and you get exposed if you have something to be exposed. Mm-hmm. So that is so important early in the season, is that you want to find out in game 1 or 2, what's the problem, if there is a problem, and then you can deal with it. But if you're trucking along there and winning 2 or 3 easy games, then you might not find it till week 5, and now you wasted a lot of time. We haven't always had a luxury. We've tried the last 2 or 3 years to schedule like somebody really tough on the front end. Yeah, and sometimes it hasn't worked out, but this time it did. I mean, he called me and. Coach called me up there. Coach Vandegrift called me and was like, you want to play? I'm like, yep. He said, wait a minute. He said, y'all gonna be that good? I said, well, no, we need a game like you guys. And he said, well, Coach, we're gonna be really good. I said, well, we need to play. And
that's so great.
We're jumping into it. I mean, I feel great about our team playing them.
That's great, man.
Really good about it. But they got a good. They have a pretty decent quarterback.
Yeah,
and,
he's all right.
They have a couple of really good receivers, and they're a well-coached team. He was the D coordinator at Woodward over there for a long, long time before he went to Prince, and so he does a good job as coaching. And it'll be a great challenge for us, and I think it'll be a great challenge for them as well. So it's going to be a fun game.
Now, with the COVID-19 and all the Chatham County Public Schools not being allowed to play except Chatham County Public Schools, was there a problem filling out the schedule? Because you had a couple of Chatham County schools. You played Islands for the last 3 years in a row, I think. So was there a problem filling in the schedule, Coach?
There was. I mean, we always try to play somebody in town if we can, and for one of those early games at least, and then scheduling just happens. Coach, you wouldn't believe it from when you were out of it. Scheduling starts happening during your season.
I know.
Very strange. And I mean, you didn't even think about it until maybe after Christmas, way back in the day. But now people are scheduling during the season and all that. So it's kind of insane. But yeah, we did have, some of us just couldn't match up. And sometimes people just think you're going to be good and they don't want to play or whatever. But and then again, sometimes it match. And some games you don't really want. I mean, we have always the Glen Academies calling us, and we have the big 5A schools calling us from down in South Georgia. They're always going to give us a little bit of a ring. There's nothing wrong if you can go and compete in those games. Then they're great to play. Right. And then the problem with compete, you'll compete for a little while, but then they're just going to wear you down by attrition. You got too many players.
Right.
Too much size and too many players. So you just get worn down. But if you can find a game, it's a very challenging game. You want it. But yeah, it was difficult. So we picked up some games that we normally wouldn't pick up. And I think we picked up two or three good teams that we haven't played before. And then we crossed over the Macon schools, and the Macon schools, you never know exactly how good they're going to be. Sometimes they're really, really good. We play some good Stratford teams, some good teams out of the area down there. So they should be good. And we picked up North Cobb Christian. I don't know one thing about North Cobb Christian, but we called everybody and their brother up there, trying to get games, and it was just very difficult to make it happen because there's so much, because of all the getting rid of the privates out of region competition. There was a lot of people scurrying around, and you call a public school up there like, you got to be kidding me. We got 6 guys right here. We can play in private schools.
Right.
So anyway.
Yeah, Steve, they divided the private and public. So now the region is no longer Claxton, Portal, Country Day, Calvary, Christian. You're adding the Aquinas, but no more Claxton, no more Portal. And that was a black and blue region there, Coach. And I hate to see that they did that to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think we always had some great games with the ECIs. I mean, we always have great games with those guys. And Johnson County, great games. And, it was Claxton. So, yeah, those were games that were close. And, it sounded like when this split first started happening that some of those teams said, yeah, we'll play. And then, it just didn't come through. And then some of them just flat out said, no, we don't want, we've had enough of that. We don't not do that. So anyway, it would be great to go back to that day where you're playing people right in your area and you got some local competition going on. That would be good. But, it's just something I don't ever worry about because I can't control it.
Right.
We just take the next step and whatever they put us, and people kind of lose their minds sometimes about it. But, there's enough to deal with that you can control. Other things you can't control, just let it be and let's move on. So
I'll tell you what, though, growing up and playing in that region when I was in high school at basketball, man, those games against Claxton and Metter and Reedsville and Glenville, those became pretty big rivalries. As you got older and you knew the kids on the other side. You only saw them 2 or 3 times a year, but Southeast Bullock and some of them, you played them 12 times or whatever it was throughout the course of high school career, and by the time you got to about the 4th or 5th time, you were ready to beat up on them a little bit. There was definitely a rivalry with the schools a little bit west of here and a little bit south of here that were awfully good at sports. I'll tell you that much.
No doubt about it. Yeah, we've had some great rival games, and you get to know the coaches really well.
Sure.
You interact a lot. That's a big part of it. And then you're right. I mean, some of our kids get to know each other, and they play each other for 5 or 6 years.
That's right.
All the way up. So yeah, we miss that. But hey, new horizons, right?
Coach, I'd like to ask you a question, general question that I kind of ask everybody that we get that's nice enough to come on with us. Do you feel like there's more recruiting taking place in our area in coastal Georgia, the coastal empire, than there has been in the past? It feels like there's been an uptick over the past few years. Now, this is a weird year because of the COVID thing, but in the past few years, it just feels like more attention's being paid to public and private schools down here. It seems like more kids are getting opportunities, getting looks, getting offers. What do you think is contributing to that? I know, honestly, some of it is the success of teams like y'all and Savannah Christian and some of the others. But have you noticed that there's been an uptick in interest from college coaches?
I think it's fully attributed. I think the public schools is fully attributed to continuing to get quality coaches in that are way more attentive to their kids, that are taking classroom stuff. I mean, it's when I first got to Calvary, I remember that first year, I think there was only like 2 kids in the whole city that signed.
That's about right.
I was like, what in the world? And one of the coaches that came through and was recruiting our area, we talked about it. He said, Coach, a lot of these kids just don't have any grades.
Yeah.
And so you've just gotten guys that have gotten into I think a lot more guys gotten into the public schools down here that have really, they're just doing a great job checking on the kids, keeping their kids, checking grades, monitoring grades, doing a really good job of trying to build a program. And then, just monitoring their guys all the way through and making sure they're on track, make sure they're taking SAT. They're just getting their kids better prepared because there's always been athletes, but I don't think there's been attention to those things. And the coaching staffs have just gotten better across the board. And because of that, now it's like it's a frenzy down here now. We're getting in traffic. We get people from the Midwest now that come through and all the way out to the West Coast we've had some good players. Benedictine's had some really good players. Jason's guys over there at Jenkins last year. They did the job they did last year there was
fantastic. One of the best teams. Yeah, really amazing.
All the things they had to get through to have that year, to not having to feel the practice on, the busing kids every day, all the above. And it was just I can't say enough about what they did over last year. So you're getting that kind of things happening in the public schools. Some of those kids that used to come to Calvary, they were just going right into Jenkins. That just would normally just come to Calvary because they want to be involved in that program.
Right.
So you're getting more of that happening, and I fully accredit it to connection with coaches. In the public, especially the public schools, and I think now, Coach can tell you we've become so much more diverse at Calvary, and which is a great thing, and we're getting a lot of foot traffic with guys because we've had good players in the past, all the way back to, way back, and now we're getting just a real flux of guys coming through, and I think that's really been cool. Phenomenal. So it's been good. It
seems like you're right. Not too many years ago, if you had 4 or 5 kids sign with colleges, it was a big year. Now we're looking at a dozen, 15, 16 kids, and it's all over. It's the public schools, it's Calvary, Savannah Christian, Memorial, Savannah Country Day. At BC, obviously. I think, like you said, there's always been talent, and there's always been athletic talent in Savannah, but it's amazing to see the attention being paid now to the area and the recognition that, like you said, these coaches are getting them through and getting them to take care of their business so that they can have that opportunity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Again, they now the college coaches, number one, see there's talent, and they've always known that. But now they're coming down here. They're not wasting a trip.
Right.
Because they're not coming down here and going into a school and the kid's got no grades. Or he hasn't even taken his SAT.
Right.
So, now there's so much more of that going on. There's so much more taking care of that because of that. And I think the parents are way more attentive to it as well than
Yep.
they were in the past. Parents are way more attentive to taking care of make sure the kids are checking their academics more, and also making sure they're in line and ready to be where they can go into a college. They're just monitoring way more. I think it's just so much more attention to academics right now, and just kind of making sure they're in a program that can help them be better.
Carl,
Go ahead, Stephen.
as an athletic director now, at Highlands, do you see more of that, more attention being paid to the academic side? And hey, let's make sure we know you're good at this sport, but let's make sure you're able to take advantage of how good you are at something. Is that something you're seeing in the kind of in your role as athletic director?
Well, not even just athletic director, and I'm like Coach Stroud. I've been around a little longer around the box than he has. I mean, I've stressed grades from day one before we even got into this social media stuff with Huddle and Twitter and coaches seeing you all over the place. I said to the kids, I said, they're not going to come in and say, hey, Coach DeMasi, tell us about this kid's talent. They're going to say, hey, Coach DeMasi, tell us about his grades. Tell us what type of person he is. They already know what type of player you are. They already know that you have God-given talent. And yes, now more and more kids are concentrating on getting bigger, faster, stronger, and they're concentrating on their grades. So it's because of the coaches, I feel, are now stressing it. And I think more and more coaches, I mean, they're not doing it for themselves. They're doing it for these kids because they get into the next level. Every kid has a dream of getting, of course, to the NFL, the NBA, MLB, wherever they may be in. But you're not going to get there unless you have the good grades and you can get into a college. Your talent, God-given. It's what you do. Now, a big thing, Stephen, and Coach will tell you, is social media.
Yep.
Because the college recruiter is going to ask you, Coach, and he's going to look at your social media account. So these kids are learning that, 1, grades, 2, know what type of person you are. You have to be reputable. You have to be, an upstanding citizen. And then they're going to look at your social media. I mean, Coach, you can tell me now, I haven't really talked to many recruiters the last couple of years because I haven't coached basketball. But I know I've heard some recruiters come in, they meet the secretaries, and they start asking the secretaries about the kids.
Yeah. It's such an investment. I mean, for a lot of colleges now, it's a lot of money. They're investing a lot of money in these kids. I mean, they're investing a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And these recruiters just, the college game now, everybody does a good job coaching. But the teams that are being so successful have great recruiters. And, and those guys know that. There's a lot of pressure on these guys when they go out and recruit because, their livelihood is based on they can find another guy probably just as good as him coaching. But can they find a guy that can recruit as good as him? And so they're going to kick every stone. They're going to turn it on you, right? They'll talk to the secretaries.
Did we just lose him?
Maybe.
Coach, you just got frozen. Yeah, but anyway, to take one step further, let's see if we can get him to come back. I guess I should remove him for a couple of seconds, eh?
Let's see if we can rejoin. Yeah, I think to me, as someone who's not coached at the level that you and Coach Stroud have coached at, it's really fascinating to see how this thing has developed in our area because it just seems like it's exploded. And I think it's a credit to the people like you and Coach Stroud who have worked hard to get the colleges interested. But golly, how much talent is there right now in Savannah? I mean, every single school we look at, every people we talk to, Richmond Hill, Savannah, a little up the road a little bit, Statesboro's got a bunch of talented kids, across the river, Bluffton. Hey, Coach, you're back.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I was just telling Karl, to me, as someone who's never been on a sideline like you and Coach DeMasi have, it's amazing how much this has blossomed, not just in Savannah, but the Coastal Empire and the Low Country. Man, it just seems like it's been an explosion of gifted, talented athletes, and you can't hardly turn on college football or college basketball game anymore without seeing a kid from our area, and following them like that, especially if you're watching, local college sports. And that, as just someone who's interested in a former journalist, I guess, well, it is really, really fascinating, man. It is just amazing to see our area being pinpointed and targeted in this way, in a positive way,
Yeah.
and so many good things happen around here. And obviously guys like you and Coach DeMasi and the coaches at Jenkins and Windsor Forest, but Windsor Forest done a great job. It's just been incredible to watch over the last few years.
Yeah, it's great to see. It actually is. It's exciting to watch our our whole city and our surrounding area to have guys that are just doing really, really well. And again, when you have one player, they think you have another player, so they're just not going to miss.
No,
that's right.
If the school is going to have a player, they're going to continue to come through your school, and because they know that once a program gets kind of on the map a little bit and get some kids out there, other kids want to come and somebody's shown they can establish a good program at any one of those schools, then they're gonna keep their kids, or kids are going to go to a certain place that's got that going on. And so coaches are it's amazing, like I said earlier, how many guys are coming through our area now. It's literally amazing, and it's great to see. And I think it's, again, I think it's always been players. I think it's a great credit to across the board the coaching staffs and all the schools in the area. And you got to give some credit to the parents as well. They're monitoring the kids more and more. Certainly when they see a kid has some talent. So I think it's a good combination. But I do give a lot of credit to the coaches in the area doing a really good job of getting their kids out there and making sure the kids got all their things done, academically and character-wise. As you were saying earlier about the social media stuff, I mean, there's such an investment for these guys, and like you were saying, the recruiters, there is so much pressure on them to do a great job, so they're like deep diving on these guys. But, if you get a player here, there's going to be another player somewhere else very similar. Might be California, but which one of those guys has got junked up stuff on his Instagram, or something that's off the point, off the mark. It's just a financial investment.
Yep.
And they know that they got guys going to come through and be somebody that's not going to be a liability to their program, or somebody they can keep. So I think people understand that better now too, and they are projecting themselves better on social media too. I mean, I know Fuchsius. I mean, one of the coaches told me, and the kids understand it well now too. I think it's a combination of lots of things, but the kids understand it well now too, because he put something on his Twitter, a video of him doing something, just a workout as a defensive lineman. They were like, God, wow.
Yep.
That's impressive. And it was actually when everything was locked down. So, they were diving deep there and found that stuff on him. And again, then they just start raking through your stuff and see if there's any red flags. And there is, if you're close to another guy, they're going to go with the other guy. Every time. Coach,
I got one last question for you. And like I said, you started doing this way back when, 29 years is your 29th season. Son, does it get old? Or are you still enjoying it? You still can see yourself doing it another 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think I can continue to do it. It's just ever changing, ever changing. I mean, I was an assistant for 5 years, so it's 29 years as a head coach. It's 34 years in.
34 years.
It's definitely changing all the time, and the game is certainly changing. It's a new challenge for me to work on the defense side of the ball. So that's a new challenge. That'll created some energy for me. I found that I was not. I tried to be a CEO for about 2 years, and I'm just not a CEO guy. I need to be coaching somebody, and I went to Swainsboro. I tried that year there, and just not who I was. It's not who I am. And I tried it for a year back at Calvary, and for a year or so there, and it's just I'm more foot soldier than that. So that's exciting to get back into the mix of just what I've always done, except for those 3 years. So that's exciting, and As long as you can continue to keep in perspective. Sometimes I don't keep in perspective. I get anxious about the wins and the losses and that kind of stuff, like everyone does. And when I back away from it, when I come to my senses really quick, then I realize that our job is to impact kids and to help them be better men, and to bring our staff together close and bring our players together closely and create something that's special. And if I can just keep my face fixed on that, then I can do it for a long time.
Cool.
Mr.
Thank
Weeks?
you very much for spending all this time with us tonight, Coach. We certainly appreciate it and respect everything you've done for at Calvary with that program, and I'm sure you're all about to have another great season and represent the Cavalier Nation very well.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all.
Thanks, man.
Take
care,
Coach.
Night, guys. See y'all.
I'll see you on the sideline. I mean, to do something that long, 34 years, 29 years as a head coach, 5 years as an assistant, you got to get out of bed every day and don't mind doing it. And he's one of the most respected guys you're ever going to meet. He's a coach, player's coach. There's no cursing. There's no running up and down the sideline and getting in your face. The voice gets a little loud every now and then, but just the whole class act. And I had the privilege of my youngest son playing for him for 3 years, and they love him. The kids love him, and they still love him.
He's been successful everywhere he's coached, Karl, and I think it's his style obviously travels and resonates with the kids, and he's to maintain it for 25 years over with all the different things that have happened in our culture, to be able to continue to connect with young men like that and continue to get the most out of them. He's got to have a solid base, I as a reporter first, and then as just a fan, followed Coach Stroud for a long time, and plays an exciting brand of football. Certainly has sent a lot of kids to play at the next level and won a lot of big games, taking Calvary deep into state playoffs, and and oftentimes he's doing it with a smaller roster than a lot of other schools will have, even in Class A. Calvary's small, even for the smallest division. So he does a great job, and like you said, one of the most respected coaches, leaders around the area. So pretty cool that he joined us for all that time tonight.
Well, let's go to the other side. Just so you know, if you're watching football, high school football does start tomorrow night across the bridge. Dorchester Academy comes on and takes on Hilton Head Christian. Hilton Head Christian is the number one ranked team, preseason number one ranked team in the South Carolina Independent Schools Association. St. John's Christian takes on Buford Academy. Hilton Head Prep travels to Colleton Prep up at Walterboro. Orangeburg comes and takes on John Paul II over at Hardyville. And First Baptist School comes on and plays it in Ridgeland against Thomas Haywood. So we will have football. But, Stephen, the Prep Sports Report is flowing. I mean, we got more and more people donating stories and scores. And it's getting a lot for one guy to handle. And when you jump in, it even makes it a little easier. But it's I didn't think it would explode this quick, even during a pandemic.
Hey, listen, it's so great to go to the website every morning and see a score. I think Habersham's volleyball team has started off really well, and obviously some of the area teams have gotten off to good starts, and some of the softball teams are off to good starts. And for me, as a fan, it's just great to be able to see results, game results and stats, and how the kids are doing. So I know they were itching to get back at it. So it's been really cool. And like every other year, heroes and teams will come out of nowhere, and that's what we're all looking forward to getting back to. Is like Coach Stroud said, you don't know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of high school sports. You never know who the next star is going to be, and you're right. Prep Sports Report's doing great. Thank you to everybody who visits the website. Thank you to our sponsors. It's unbelievable that we got this thing off the ground. You got this thing off the ground in the middle of a pandemic without sports. And now that we got sports, it's it's great. It's amazing to see all the new faces, fresh faces, and all the great stories that we're able to share with the community. It's been amazing.
Hey, I'm going to throw this out to anybody that's listening or watching, or if you watch the replay, or when I post it on, it's posted on YouTube. Hey, you got a story and you want to contribute. You got a kid that's done something special. I mean, we can't get it all. We're there for you. I mean, go to the Prep Sports Report Facebook page. There's a link right there where you could send us your story. I mean, we want you to be part of it. Okay, you can call me. My phone's on 24/7. So you can email me at kdemasi@prepsportsreport.com. You can click on it and get Elmo Weeks and send him a shout out. So we want you to be involved in it too. Hey, you got a great picture. We'll take it and we'll give you credit for it. We want this to be a community website, not just what Karl DeMasi went and got, not just what Stephen Elmo Weeks went and found, or of course, we got to thank the man himself. Travis Jadon has been writing some great stories. He's got another big one that I got to post tonight. You want to talk about football?
Oh man, that's a great story. That's
as
real
the old football
right
coach. Don't have the boys in the trenches, you don't win. And we got some hogs up there at Richmond Hill High School.
I read Travis's story, and I won't give it away, but if you want to read a, honest to goodness football story, this is a football story. There's no fancy frou-frou in this. This is like you said, in the trenches, blocking, tackling. If you love high school football, if you love the game of football, read Travis's story about the Richmond Hill High School offensive line. And that sounds like quite a group, Karl.
Hey, we got some hogs on that line, baby, and I know why Matt Lazard is so happy about that one. So
that's right. But hey, it's not just football. We want, if you've got a kid that's doing great in golf or swimming or cross country, anything, whatever your kids are doing, whatever sports they're playing, they're a part of our community, and we want to share it with the rest of the community, let people know about their successes and their achievements. So like Karl said, go to prepsportsreport.com, send us an email, fill out the form, give us a call, whatever you want to do. We'll get back in touch with you. Travis might do something on you. I might write something. I don't know. Somebody's going to write something about what your young people are doing.
And like you said, Stephen, we covered the Savannah Junior Golf Circuit all summer long. We'll take the minor leagues. That means the kids in elementary school, the kids in middle school. We want to promote them too. So it's not just high school. We want to know where they're at. You have a special kid that was a standout player or left Savannah and became a standout player in college somewhere. We want to tell about that too. So it's not just what's going on here. Let's find out where they are now.
Cool. Well, Karl, it's about time for me to go have supper.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. Yeah, it's longer than we usually go. But once again, we haven't done this in about 2 or 3 weeks. But we'll try and be here every Thursday night, right here on the Prep Sports Report, Thursday Night Live. Stephen, I'll talk to you later. I'll get us out of here, and I'll talk to you during the weekend.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great night.
So remember, the coach, Karl DeMasi, and for the columnist, Stephen Elmo Weeks, we appreciate you joining us. Remember, whatever you may be doing, always hit it out of the park. And until next week, may it be your best week ever. We're out of here. Remember, wash those hands, wear that mask, and God bless.